What's up, fool? I'm Big Purr. And if you got my money or my bud, nah, I'm just playing. But for real though, what's the password, fool?
Keep pounding.
Good. Cause if you would've came in here talking that rise up or who that bullshit, you would've got smoked. There's principalities in this. But since you talking right, bring your ass up in here, fool.
Panther NATO, what it do, what it do, what it do. We ain't doing that much, I tell you the truth. It just it just ain't. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna go through a whole bunch of stuff tonight. Um, I have not had a chance to connect with y'all in a while. Working this new job. Um, but if I get these subscribers up on this channel as well as my other channel, which I'll be revealing to y'all in a few, um, you know, I can just become a full time YouTube executive producer and give y'all all the content that y'all want. Um, Definitely looking to collaborate with some of the other Panther casters, PMP, C3, uh, Charlotte Bound, um, Charlotte Vibe, Pat Coltrane, um, just to name a few of the people that I would love to collaborate with from time to time. But yeah, man, we gonna get into this. Where to begin? Where to begin? Where to begin? Um, we're gonna talk about Frank Reich in a moment, but we're going to peel back some layers of this stinky ass onion, and we're going to really get to the bottom of what what's going on. We're going to expose some history tonight. Um, as you look into this great hall of Pantherdom, um, the guy in the middle, I'm sure he just is in heaven looking down and saying what the he's just you know how these other four guys feel about it. Um, but yeah, we're going to start at the top. Um, our owner, David Tepper. I really wish that Steph and Jordan or somebody would do something and make him an offer because this dude is not an NFL franchise is not what he's good at. He needs to stick to soccer, something I don't really watch or care for. Uh, but my hometown favorite football team, I need him to back away from. Put down what Dr. Dre say. Put down the candy and let the little boy go. Like for real, because it's just not. No, no, no. It's not. It's not. But we're gonna go back in time a little bit because I need to. For some of you guys, you need the picture painted um, to show you just how bad we are. And for me to do that, you got to be exposed to the truth a bit and exposed to the fact that um, we are this way because of the ownership. And we'll get to Frank Wright in a moment. As I said, he mentioned that he's been having a meeting with David Tepper every week. Um, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he that's just too much. That's just too much. He needs to let up." Um, we'll address that in a minute. But let's run through this history. So, 2017, we know the team is up for sale because our original owner um, could not remain professional. He could not keep up with the times of professionalism. He wanted to um, voice his misogyny and his racism, things of that nature, and you know, you're not, you don't just own the team by yourself. You are a part of a NFL franchise. In other words, yeah, you bought into the NFL, so the team is yours. It's like it's yours on a loaner. You're leasing the team. You really haven't bought it yet because you still have to abide by the rules of the NFL. That's just period, point blank. It's just not yours to do whatever you want to do with. So yeah, it's you know he was ousted or stepped down or have you and sold the team, and then here comes David Tepper, and the only thing that he does correct was 2018. He sits back and tries to study a little bit of what he has. And I mean that season, as you know, before the bottom fell out and Cam got injured, we were riding high. Um, the Amazon crew said they really felt like they were chronicling a team poised to return to the Super Bowl. Um, we came back from a 17-point deficit against the NFL Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we beat them. You know, on the arm of one Cameron Jarrell Newton, my favorite quarterback, always will be. Um, and then the bottom fell out. Um, Cal Allen, I think, played a little bit. He got hurt. Tyler Haneke played a little bit, showed his what he could do, and he ended up getting hurt. And that was, that's how that season ended. The season that was 2018. Let's fast forward to 2019, shall we? What does David Tepper say before the draft? I'm here that we don't do anything too stupid. Y'all remember that? In that particular draft, we took first round, first pick, Spidey himself, number 53 at the time, Brian Burns from Florida State. Um, we got some receivers. We also got the champ's son, Elijah Holyfield. So we're going to fast forward a little bit, go into camp. Um, Before camp, Cam takes the receivers and everybody to Venice to work out. I mean, he took them to the workout mecca in Venice, California. He wasn't playing around. He was trying to really get it done. Um, but yeah, so preseason comes about, and something happens. Oh, somebody else that we took in the draft in the third round. Hometown favorite Will Greer from West Virginia. And so in that preseason, something happens. Several things happen. Cam got hurt again. um, Played a game that he shouldn't have played. Got hurt. Um, Elijah's first time out, he fumbled and worked all three of those games to get his hands right, things of that nature, and he really showed himself as somebody that can be useful, skillful. I wish they would have kept him. Um, what else happened? Oh, one big thing that happened. Tyler Haneke mopped the floor with Kyle Allen and Will Greer, and he clearly won the backup spot, hands down, hands down. Clearly won it, and There was something goofy going on though about the situation because Ron Rivera would not comment on the situation. Media was trying to get him to comment on Tyler's play, how good it was, and his skill set. He was mum through the whole situation, and the reason why that was is he knew that Marty Herney was not going to select him. Why get everybody's mouth watering for meat? Pause that they're not going to sink their teeth into. They're just it's not going to happen. Why get you excited for it? Um, and this much was said at the final 53 man roster press conference. They pressed him and said, "Why not? Didn't you select Tyler Henneke?" And he said, "Well, I have to defer to Marty Herney. You guys know I've said many times before that, you know, personnel is Marty." So we go on that season, and you know, it's Cam, Cal Allen, and Will Greer. Well, Will Greer clearly has proven that he ain't ready. So the clear backup, once the Liz Frank situation happens, game one, I think it was. No, no, no. Liz Frank happened game preseason game three, and it was aggravated game one. Right. So Kyle Allen starts to catch some smoke. He's rolling pretty, kind of fumble prone, as I remember. But for the most part, he's doing good. And I mean, Kyle Allen is really, really, really doing good. We're riding high. We're beating people, man. We are beating people. We beat the brakes off of Tampa in London. We beat the mustache, as he was called at the time. What's the mustache dude? Jaguars. Uh, uh, what is, I can't say his name. Greg something. I can't say his name. Anyway, the mustache dude. We beat them, and we was beating folks until Greg. I'm telling you, man. Kyle Allen was great. Kyle Allen was great. Kyle Allen was great for the same length of time as a McDonald's special promotion for a limited time only because this dude started to really, really suck. The fumbles picked up, the interceptions picked up, and, you know, he was no longer the guy that was going to save the season. He was just the backup. And, people were rooting and chanting to put Will Greer in, but they knew Will was not nowhere near ready for the task at hand. They knew that. They knew that. And middle of the season, Tepper fires Rivera, leaving Perry Farrell this half cracked pot chance of getting the position. But this is not about him. Um, but who does he keep? He keeps Herney, the number one person that you could really hang the 2019 season on the neck of. Now we all know we put it on on Double R's shoulders because he's the head coach. He's the face of the whole team. So, it's his fault. By design, by position, by default, it's his fault that everything is the way it is. He's the problem. But if you know how real football is supposed to work, and if you know that the GM has this power of personnel, is supposed to have the power of personnel, then he wasn't at fault. You can also tell that when he went to Washington, I might add, I don't know how it is now, but at that particular time, I know that Herney was not the GM, and who was the quarterback? Tyler Henneke. So that clearly proves to you that Rivera wanted him. And if it would have been his way, um, Tyler Henneke would have stayed and probably could have saved the season. Probably could have saved the season in 2019. Um, but yeah, so Temper keeps Hurney, makes one of the most preposterous hires in the history, not of just the Carolina Panthers, but in the history of the NFL. You hire somebody that's been a college coach and has just meager mid success. You know, he went to Temple. Okay, did pretty well. But when he went to Baylor, a place where it's a higher caliber of ball, supposed to be, he flunked. Now I know you, Matt Rule Truth, was going to say that's not true. He turned Baylor around in 3 years. No, he didn't. And as Stymie said in was it Stymie or Buckwheat in Little Rascals? No. Excuse me. No. Wrong phrase. Excuse me. Um, the old dude in the barbershop and Coming to America. I'm gonna have to edit this and put this in there. But yeah, the old dude in Coming to America. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about Baylor real quick, and we because we ain't gonna spend that much time talking about Blankety Blank. I don't even say his name no more. Okay, Baylor was in trouble because you had a bunch of sexual assaulters and rapists on the team. But football wise, Coach Art Browse had them ready to go. They were doing the dang thing on the field. They were terrors on and off the field. The interim head coach, not Blankety Blank, the interim head coach comes in the next season after they let Art Browse go, and he takes them to 500. Now, I don't know who was on this board or the AD or whatever, whose decision it was that says, you know what, let's move on from the interim. Let's not give him a shot, even though he's got us some wins. Let's go with this other guy from Temple. Let's go with him. And Blankety Blank leaves Temple early so that he can quote unquote, do all of his recruiting duties and everything like that. Do you know what Blankety Blank did that next season at Baylor? One win. You know what he did his second season at Baylor? 500. His second season at Baylor, he got them back to what the interim did before him. And the very season that he hits a double digit win column for the first time at Baylor, he's out of there and signs an inappropriate contract as an NFL head coach. Now, this is the same guy that went to Penn State and, to my knowledge, never played. You won't find too many Super Bowl winning head coaches that didn't at least play in college. No. I'm not talking about just on the team. You won't find too many that didn't play in college. I've done the research. I didn't find any. You know, you can find and everybody that's won, you can find stats, highlights, things of that nature. All you find about this guy was notables. Good team guy. Actually quoted as being walk on practice fodder. And this is who David Tepper gives a inappropriate bag to over the likes of Eric Bieniemy that we interviewed twice. Did you don't like Bieniemy? Well, I'll tell you this much. Um, did Kevin Stefanski get a interview? No. Urban Meyer? No. Thank God he didn't because we saw how that panned out. But at that moment in time, if there was any college coach deserving of it, Urban Meyer was deserving of it. Lincoln Riley was deserving of an interview. But no, they rushed this process and they hired this guy because she could cook his wife could cook a steak because they smell bad alike, because they dress crazy alike, because they sweat profusely alike. And another thing both of them have in common is neither one of them, to my knowledge, played an actual down in college. Tepper wasn't even on the team. Blankety blank was practice fodder. But then wait a minute. But then a caveat to the hiring of blankety blank. Also, he gives him full control of personnel, making Herney now the Gemino. You heard of Gemini, right? Well, it's Gemino, GM in name only. Now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. We win 5 games, and then what happens? In the middle of the season, he lets the Gemino, the now Gemino, Marty Herney go. He doesn't fire him. See, a lot of people say, it was, Rivera's time was up. It was time for him to go. I'm trying to figure out how you can make that argument, and at the same time, you can't say that it was Hurney's time to go. At the same time, both of them. You can't. No one says that if you're going to let one of them go, you need to excuse the GM too and start fresh and hire a GM and coach together. No one. I don't. No one has that argument. Everybody says, well, it was time for Rivera to go. They never say it was time for Hurley to go. Even though, like I said before, you could hang 2019 around Hurney's neck. That's all him. The best thing that he did in 2019 was Brian Burns. Everything else, joke. Everything else, joke. And I don't have to tell you. So, you lived it. The next, So then we got Scott Fitt. So then he becomes the Gemino. We get what? We lose one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, Cam Newton. They bring in Teddy Bridgewater. Um, and we know about the quarterback carousel and preseason off season rather of 2021. He wants a Foster, not Deshaun Foster, excuse me, a Deshaun Watson that is embroiled and embattled with lawsuits. That's who he wants, but has the nerve to bring him to the dinner table with a lame duck head coach that had just sent us through 2 straight 5-win seasons. Finally fires him, lets Blankety Blank go. We got Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes posts up some wins, and he says, if he does a phenomenal job, he'll get the nod. And I guess by phenomenal meaning actually putting us in the playoffs. So a winning season wasn't enough. You know, helping us to recover from 1-5, you know, to taking us to 9 wins wasn't enough. Um, Instead, you hire Frank Reich, who was just fired. So you hire a first you let go of a coach with a certain pedigree, a 1985 Super Bowl winner that played under Dick Butkus, played alongside Sweetness and all these other Chicago Bear giants, greatness. Um, you're letting go of a guy that's part by default that is part of the Dick Butkus tree. That's what you decide to do. Um, you keep the guy whose fault it really is that 2019 went down the toilet because he kept and let go of the wrong people. I'm just rehashing so y'all keep up. You hire a guy who's only been an assistant in the league one season, had meager success in college, and you give him the full reins to mess up the career of your franchise quarterback, bringing somebody who is not him, who is not a franchise quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. He brings somebody in the league that in PJ Walker that shouldn't be in the league. That's just he can play a little bit. That's about it. He's not him. He's not no. He's not him. Um, and then the signing of Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield on top of that. You know, and then You're gonna let him draft. You're actually going to let him draft Matt Corral. Now we know that Scott Fitterer pulled his coattail and said, "Listen, I'm not going to go down as a scapegoat to this guy." Okay, and so Scott made some of his moves. And for the most part, we can agree that uh, it was well timed moves. You know, um, and people are saying a lot about the CMC trade. Well, it worked. It worked because the problem was that we were relying too heavily on CMC. We relied too heavily on CMC, and somehow along the lines we got Dante Foreman, and so that power back and that with along with Chuba Hubbard that began to work. Now, what I will say is this: enter Mr. Frank Reich, a guy that um, a former quarterback of ours threw the first touchdown at the Clemson, in the old Clemson days. It's a great story. He has Super Bowl some rings from some different places, but never as a head coach. Um, and so that being said, but this guy had just been fired by somebody else. Like, do you really think it's a smart thing to hire a guy that was just fired by somebody else? Like one of the things, and I mean midway through the season. So one of the things, if I'm an owner, one of the things that I'm going to do before I even think about interviewing this guy is I'm going to have a conversation with that other owner. The owners talk. They have each other's numbers and emails. Ask Kaepernick. They talk. They talk. Um. So yeah, I mean, and you fast forward to where we are now, 0-4. It's giving the Colts were not wrong. It's giving the Colts were not wrong. It's giving David Tepper does not know how to hire head coaches. It's giving David Tepper does not know who to hire or who to fire and when to do so. It's giving he does not know he wouldn't know a good um, NFL front office if he looked in the mirror and saw one. And say what you want to say about Bryce Young. I have a question more so about Thomas Brown and this whole collaborative, what I call, what they call collaborative, I call constipation effort as far as the offensive play calling. Well, I didn't say that, but when people were pounding for an offensive minded coach, they were pounding for an offensive minded coach that knew how to identify what the offensive coordinator wanted to put in and knew exactly what to okay and what to deny. They weren't necessarily looking for a head coach that would take on, per se, the offensive play calling duties, especially not suck like this. And I would also move that why do we have Thomas Brown? His resume is no good to us as a Osino, offensive coordinator in name only. His resume at the Rams or wherever he was at is no good to us with that. If he's going to be here as an offensive coordinator, hot dang it, he needs to coordinate and call the plays. Because see, one thing about this whole collaborative, excuse me, constipation effort, that right there, that right there is saying we want to disguise ourselves because we don't want you to know who's calling what, so you won't have anybody to blame for this atrocity on the field. That's what that is. That's what that is. We 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 went from missed opportunities to 7 years to now a collaborative effort, and it all amounts to bullshit. All amounts to bullshit. And you know, on the subject of Bryce, I released a video. I said Frank Wright deserves to pick his own guy. I did say that because you know if this has because here's my deal. If you have him here and his excuse for not reaching greatness in his past head coaching positions was that he missed the opportunities because of him not having his own quarterback, then what you want to do when he gets here, you definitely want to eliminate that as an excuse. So I'm gonna say this: if and it's too late now, too late now. But if he's not, if Bryce isn't Frank's guy, he shouldn't be here. If CJ was Frank's guy, CJ should be here. Or AR-15 should be here. I'm really convinced that it was AR-15 because that's the one who he spoke the most highly of during the whole process. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. And I said Frank needs to have his guy because that particular guy, that quarterback, is the one he's going to have to go to the top of the hill with and live or die with. And here we are at 0 4. And Baby Yoda ain't cutting it right now. Sorry to say, but he's just not. And I bought into it. I bought into the Bryce hype. I didn't go get the jersey yet. I'm going. I was going to, and I still probably will. You know what I mean? But yeah, he ain't cutting the mustard right now. But I will say this. I will say this. I'm not going to place the blame solely on him when the coaching is messed up as it is. These people actually made decisions to go and get receivers that were injury prone, that were hurt up, things of that nature. These are decisions they made. You know, um, Another thing I would like to know. Um, a lot of people want to place a lot of blame on Scott Fitterer now, but I'm looking at Tepper and I'm like, did you snatch the keys again from Scott and give them to Frank? Because if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was Frank in the confidential episode that I saw that asked Bryce about how he felt about Mingo. Now it's mighty funny that Ron Rivera didn't touch personnel matters, but these last two, you got blankety blank's wife making a pick in the draft, and then you got Frank Reich asking the first pick about a receiver. You got a excuse me, let me back up. You got Frank Reich asking a rookie quarterback about another rookie receiver. Like as to say, would you throw the ball to him? No, I just drafted you. You're gonna throw it to who I want you to throw it to. But I don't think Frank Reich is the one that should have had that conversation. I think it should have been Scott Fitterer if Scott Fitterer still has full GM duties. You see what I'm saying? You see how bad we are? Do y'all see how messed up we are? And it starts at the top. It starts at the top. Let me tell you something, man. People have been saying, "Y'all leave David Tepper alone. He gonna sell the team to somebody, and they gonna smooth the team." Look, at this point, we might have to be the next Raiders. We might have to be the next Rams that have moved from St. Louis to Anaheim, back to LA. We may have to be that. Okay? We weren't playing, about that whole New Orleans Bobcats crap, you know. But I can see myself rooting for the Panthers under another city name. I can see it. I can root from. I will be rooting from afar, and every now and again, if Lord bless me with the opportunity to go to some games, I will go. As long as somebody buys this team and keeps them not only successful but competitive, man. This ain't competitive, bro. This is 0 and excuse me. I'm sorry, I lied. Not 0 and 4. We're 0 and 5. Is it appropriate to fire Frank Wright at 0 and 6? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. And here's the deal. And this is where I'm at with that. Full transparency. Okay. Year one, blankety blank. Year one of blankety blank. I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait and see. Okay, 5 wins. That's good. What's next? All right. It ain't the best, but you got some wins. All right. Okay. Good. Let's all right. All right. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and hot dang it, it dropped. Um, but the difference between him, blankety blank, and Frank Reich is at this point in time, this dude was a first year NFL head coach, right? So you kind of got to let him cook to see what he cooking with, to see what his ingredients are, to see if it tastes palatable or not. Frank Reich done this some years, y'all. Frank Reich done this some years, and until now, all we really been fed was, well, he didn't have this person in Indianapolis. He didn't have that person. He didn't have his quarterback. And as far as we know, until this point, everybody that's here, he wanted. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But my whole deal is this: if you knew, and this is where I call bullshit a little bit on some stuff, right? If you knew that what you've been lacking your pretty much your whole head coaching career has been that lights out QB that you haven't had access to, that you haven't had a chance to put your pick on. Why would you take a job where the owner was going to eventually make that pick for you? Why would you take that job? So that's where I kind of call bullshit a little bit, because I quite frankly, frankly, Frank, I don't think you're going to take that job if it's like that. Because if that is the spot that has hindered you, not only are you going to have say so, excuse me, in that particular decision, you are going to have an overriding say so in that decision. You're not blankety blank that's fresh out of college. You know, you've done this for a while, so you do deserve to pick your guy. And if you didn't do that, guess what? It's too late to cry about it. It's too late to cry about it. It's too late to cry about it. You made your bed, you sleep in it. In my mama tap of your voice. For real, for real. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We thought we were getting this Super Bowl ring wearing NFL staff with this offensive minded head coach and all of these nuanced, new style plays, run heavy, over the top, whatever, exotic stuff going on. We're not getting none of that. It's really giving should have kept Wilkes vibes. And again, so that goes back to Tepper. His version of phenomenal was playoffs, obviously. Like because my whole thing is this: when you bring a team back from 1-5 and you have them in the slightest bit of playoff contention, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said it once and I said it 1,000 times, and I'm gonna keep saying it. When you do that, you deserve at least an off season and the next season to see to put your plan into effect. You don't deserve to be looked over. You don't deserve to be part of the hiring process. You don't deserve to be a candidate. No, you deserve to be that guy for at least 1 year. At least 1 year. I've seen what you've done for a half of a season. Let me see what you do with a full season. Let me see where you can put us at. If you can make some decisions on who we gonna draft, and you get in here with Scott Fitt, and y'all decide some things. Let's see what you do. And it goes back to we are screwed from the top because this man does not know who to hire, does not know who to fire, and when to do either. And to hear me say it, it sounds harsh. It really does. It really sounds harsh, but I've stated nothing but facts. No one can dispute anything that I've said. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this effed up front office can come forward and dispute anything that I've said and shed some truth for once on some things. Come on, I would love to hear David Tepper speak on why he let Rivera go and kept Herney. I would love to. No, I don't. I would love to hear the real reason why he hired blankety blank over Eric Bieniemy when who he hired twice. I would love to know why he gave this first time NFL head coach so much leadway to get rid of an NFL franchise quarterback and an MVP, Cam Newton. I would love to hear. I would love to hear the reasoning behind all of this bullshit. I got time. I got time. David Tepper, we calling you to the altar. That's what we used to call or what we would call the blue carpet. Come on, come on. We need answers. We need answers. Help us understand. Are you purposely trying to sink this team and move it to somewhere else? Is that what you're purposely trying to do? Because people in South Carolina say you ain't too business friendly either. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's the thing, David Tepper. I don't know, but I do know what you're showing us, and it don't look good, player. It don't look good. Please, somebody, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, um, Dudley family, um, Michael Deese, uh, who else? KC, JoJo, Fantasia, um, Shirley Caesar, John P. Key. Look, please, all y'all come together, please. Form some type of LLC and make David Tepper an offer and buy this team because it is people. We are on our way to 200, our first 200 subscribers. Again, please um, like the videos, share the videos, um, and bring on some more subscribers. Um, we are currently the Panthers Den, but we will be changing our name. We are doing a um, excuse me, I'm pissed off, so I'm rambling. Sorry. For every 20 subscribers, we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving away some merch. Um, pretty much T-shirts and things of that nature. Uh, the person picked to get the T-shirt will also be given a chance to guess the new name of what the channel is. Um, and if you guess it, in exchange for your secrecy, you will be made a moderator. And moderators in this channel, once it, as we grow, you will come to know and understand that moderators of this channel are not just limited to riches in YouTube. Um, we're gonna be doing some other things. You know, we're gonna be going live. Um, whenever I'm able to come to games and things of that nature. And even maybe there may be games that I'm not able to go to. You guys are going to be doing your thing live on scene. That's how I want to get things done. Um, so but yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm telling you right now, you're not just going to be mods. You're going to be MVP mods. Seriously, seriously. Or rather MVMs, most valuable mods. Yeah, or MVD, most MVM MVMPs, most valuable mod players. Something, however you want to say it. But yeah, you're not just going to be weeding out spammers, things of that nature. You're going to have some other perks to it. So yeah. Um, so yeah, we definitely know. Let's get this done, people. Um, Racing to our 200 subscribers. And I was going to put up some other channels. Um, um, hmm, am I going to do that still? Let's see here. Yeah, I think I might do it. I don't know. I don't know. I might. I'll probably just. I'll put it in the description. My other channels. Um, so definitely subscribe to everything I got going on. But like I said, I would love to become a full time YouTube executive producer, just producing content. Again, I said executive producer. I have a degree in this, so that content creator moniker I totally reject because I know that everything that is done on this channel as well as the other channels, that title equals to executive producer. So yeah. Until next time, folks. Um, by the way, also, if you are doing anything extraordinary and you're a Panther fan, um, hit me in my DM. You see it on IG at Madhouse Mogul One. We are looking for. Um, we are looking to tell the story of the real Carolina Panthers. Players come, coaches go, and vice versa. But we here. We've always been here and we always will be here. We are the real Carolina Panthers. So I want to begin to tell you guys stories. So anybody doing anything phenomenal, you make beats, um, you got a crazy Panther cave, um, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a teacher, you play bass, or you play keys, or you sing, or you're a recording artist, whatever that case may be. DM me because we want to get you in here and put you on blast and give you some shine to Panther Nation. All right, all right. Until next time, folks. Y'all keep pounding. Peace and God bless.